Hello, Trekkies. Thanks for joining me again on Best of Trek, Worst of Trek, where we rank every live-action episode of the Star Trek franchise. I'm your host, Dustin Wing. Starting us off today, but ending Season 1 of TOS at 7:25, is Space Boogers, Part 1, or Operation Annihilate. Kirk goes to the planet his brother lives on to find alien boogers made from Nickelodeon gack controlling the population. Spock becomes infected and spends the rest of the episode trying to be cured before it's discovered that the cure is literally blinding light. Kirk blames McCoy for blinding Spock, and McCoy blames himself, but luckily it turns out Vulcans have inner eyelids, and Spock's fine after a while. They irradiate the planet with light and kill the space boogers. This is good old sleepy time Trek. Making us wish for a better episode is number 724, Night Bird, or Night Terrors. How did we get this far into TNG and still end up here? The Enterprise finds a Starfleet ship adrift and a dead crew. Troy starts having a recurring dream that turns out to be an unseen alien ship begging for hydrogen to help get both ships unstuck from a cosmic anomaly before the crew succumbs to insanity. For some implausible reason, Data puts the cryptic message from Troy's dream, Eyes in the Dark, together as being hydrogen that's needed. The best part of the episode is when Guinan uses a fun weapon to break up a fight in 10 Forward. This is a slightly better insanity plot than The Naked Now, but not by much. Babbling incoherently at number 723 is Ramblings of the Insane, or Whom Gods Destroy. This episode dials insanity up to 11 and leaves it there for 49 minutes. The Enterprise has on board a new drug that supposedly cures all mental illness. When they arrive at a Federation mental health facility for the criminally insane, they find that the inmates are running the asylum. They're led by a former fleet captain named Garth of Izar. He spends the rest of the runtime trying to gain access to the Enterprise before ultimately being outsmarted by Kirk and Spock, and getting the drug the Enterprise was carrying turns him into a different man. Sure doesn't seem by the 24th century, though, that the whole mental illness thing had gone away by the wave of a magic wand. Underneath all the absurdity, there's actually some decent Trek lore. Enough that it spawned the controversial fan film Axanar, but not enough to save it from its low ranking in the grand scheme of Trek. Taking the moral high ground at number 722, we have Protect the Ozone Layer, or When the Bow Breaks. The Enterprise finds a mythical cloaked planet named Aldea, which the name of the planet was changed after filming, and all the times Riker says it in the episode is overdubbed in the shots. Aldea is filled with a race of people that seems too technologically advanced to be as stupid as they seem. It's a slightly better version of the culture from Spock's brain, but not by much. They steal the children of the Enterprise and refuse to give them back because they've gone sterile from centuries of using their cloaking device, but don't know that yet. By the end, the Enterprise gets the kids back and show the people of Aldea that they've relied on technology they don't understand to take care of them for so long, they've basically destroyed themselves. Occupying the spot at number 721, Yankee Traders, or The Last Outpost. We're rushed into a log entry being made as the Enterprise pursues a Ferengi vessel that stole some Federation tech. This would be the first formal contact between the two races. Both vessels are stopped dead in their tracks around a planet that was an outpost for a long-dead empire. They both deploy away teams to find out what from the planet is holding their ships. The Ferengi try attacking the Enterprise away team before an entity known as Portal stops their fight and forces Riker to answer a riddle. As far as interesting things, we see holograms in the conference room table, the likes of which we wouldn't see again till modern Trek. We also see Armin Shimmerman making his first appearance as a Ferengi. Seemed like a rewrite of the TOS episode Arena, but as usual, falls flat as Season 1 TNG. Taking the long road to number 720 is Fan Service Part 1. Or These Are the Voyages. I started this list with the premise that this was the worst episode of the entire franchise, After seeing what's come below on the list, I hope you'll agree with me that there's too much Trek here to throw it away as the worst. We open having skipped 10 years of history and the NX-01 is on its last mission to get to the Federation charter signing. Though it's revealed we're just watching this play out on the holodeck of the Enterprise D by Commander Riker. The actual Enterprise plot involves Archer receiving a desperate plea from Shran to help him one more time to get his daughter back from kidnappers. Archer does just that, but halfway through the runtime here, Counselor Troi tells us that Trip is going to die before the end of the episode. I'm not sure if the producers thought it would soften the blow putting it in here, but it didn't. The kidnappers come to Enterprise looking for Shran, and Trip ends up sacrificing himself to keep them from killing anyone else. The rest of the runtime is Riker playing the role of the never-before-seen chef, doing a montage role talking to all the senior bridge crew. At the end, we see Archer at the signing of the Federation Charter. While it's disjointed and contains the unnecessary death of a main cast member, there's some really well done moments. Like the actual ending, showing the different ships named Enterprise. That's a much better set of last moments than either Voyager simply getting home with no post-closure, or DS9 that didn't know which ending to go with. It's always nice to tie things up with possibly the best recurring actor in franchise history, Jeffrey Combs. There's also some nice bookend moments, like starting Enterprise's first mission going to Rigel 10 and having the last mission go there. The first and last line of the series is "Where no man has gone before," and little remarks by the cast about it being a good run and they'll build another Enterprise. The signing of the Federation Charter is an important piece of Trek history. Enough to save this one from the absolute bottom of the list.
Getting knocked out in the first round at number 719, we have Kid Chaos versus the Marquis Mauler.
Or The Fight. Voyager's official worst appearance in the franchise involves Chakotay making telepathic first contact with a race of strange aliens who use recent memories of Chakotay in a boxing simulation to communicate a way for Voyager to navigate out of a part of space that doesn't follow the known laws of physics. The bulk of the runtime either involves Chakotay boxing in his mind or delusional in the real world. The best thing we get out of this one is bringing back Boothby, the Academy groundskeeper, as his trainer. Speeding by at number 718 is The Fast and the Boringest, or Wink of an Eye. The Enterprise encounters a distress call from what they think is a now extinct group of people. Turns out it's a trap, but they don't know that because the people exist out of phase with normal time and move so fast you can't see them. Without anyone knowing, they take over the Enterprise. Kirk is taken into their time because they need him to keep their sterile species from going extinct, like in When the Bow Breaks. He ends up taking back control of the ship, and Spock figures out a way to slow him back down to normal time. In a dramatic role reversal for Kirk, he's romantically pursued by one fast woman from the planet. This one is full of hokey plot and weird camera shots. Hacking up a wad of phlegm at 717, we have Space Boogers Part 2, or Voxala. As we mentioned earlier in this list, this is the episode where Archer first defends the Cretaceans by eating in front of them. Some kind of life form that was attached to their ship gets aboard Enterprise and ensnares Archer, Trip, and other crew members in a web of snot. We see Mayweather in command for a bit and handle the Cretaceans better than Archer is clearly ever capable of. Too bad it will get him about as far as Harry Kim when it comes time for a promotion. In other moments of keeping an ensign down in this episode, T'Pol firmly lets Hoshi know who the HBIC on the bridge is. They figure out that the life form doesn't mean them harm and just wants to get back home. They figure out where to take it and realize it's just a small piece of a single gigantic life form that makes up most of the planet. And after what we've wasted our viewing time on previously in the episode, this is a satisfying conclusion. We're wrapping up our block of episodes today with DS9's official worst episode at number 716, Deep Dungeon Space Crawler, or Move Along Home. This is pretty well agreed to be the worst episode of DS9 by the fan community, but going into this I didn't think I agreed. I thought there were a couple worse, but no, this really is a silly plot to nowhere. We open with the most actual character development in the episode with an uncomfortable teen sex talk between Ben and Jake. The senior staff dons their dress uniforms for the first time to welcome the first race from the Gamma Quadrant to visit DS9, known as the Wadi. Apparently, in only 10 short episodes, Quarks has become famous on the other side of the wormhole as the place to come gamble, because these folks want to immediately patronize it. When they start racking up wins at the Dabo table, Quark rigs it so they lose their earnings. They force Quark into playing a game they brought with them. Bashir, Cisco, Kira, and Dax all wake up from sleep in their uniforms with tricorders playing a silly but seemingly deadly game while they sleep. Odo and the Barney Fife of Trek security try to figure out what happened to the crew before Odo takes the most giant leap in logic in thinking that 4 pieces on a gigantic game board could be the missing crew. After thinking all 4 had died and didn't make it out of the game, they appear in the bar and proceed to scold the Wadi and Quark. The way Bashir wakes up screaming makes it clear they haven't dialed his character down off the horned-up, hell-bent-for-leather young officer thing he had going on during early Season 1 of DS9. It must have been a slow year at the Emmys, since this episode was nominated for Best Hairstyling, and that's way more than an episode that spends almost a full minute capturing Quark on his knees, begging, deserves.
Computer.
That program is available.
Thanks, Majel. Majel. Thanks, Majel. Majel.
Ready, Doctor.
Thanks, Majel.
The result of the first test on the creatures remains.
Majel.
This is sick bay.
Thanks, Majel.
He's gone.
Thanks, Majel. Thanks, Majel.
Doctor, that's not all you're going to do.
Majel.
Negotiate for terms.
Thanks, Majel.
Something's going on, Captain.
Majel.
Begin round 1.
Fight.
Majel.
Begin round
Animality.
Majel.
1. Begin round
Fatality.
Majel.
1. Begin round 1.
Friendship.
Majel.
End round
Flawless victory.
Majel.
1. Negative.
Superb.
Majel.
Begin round 4.
Round 4. Fight.
Majel.
Program saved.
Majel.
16 hours, 22 minutes.
Thanks, Majel.
Satire In Trek! Satire In Trek!
You cannot go back to them, ever.
Constable Odo.
Don't call me Constable. I'm Chief of Security.
Don't call me Shirley.
Enlarge.
Yeah, we're banging on the wall.
Fully enlarge.
Call, baby.
My child's been abducted.
I don't know who you are. I will look for you. I will find you.